Haribo.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we're going through the 6th canto, and we're reading about Maharaj Chitraketu. Right? Yesterday we heard Maharaj Chitraketu met the Supreme Lord. Who would like to take us from the beginning of this Leela with Chitraketu? What happened? Go ahead. Begin.
Chitraketu understood what Angira and Narada Muni instructed, so he started...
No, from the beginning.
Oh, from the beginning. Okay, so the beginning of the speak, right?
Beginning of Chitraketu, Lila with Chitraketu.
So, Maharaj Parikshit wanted to know how come Vritrasura, who is a demon, has devotional qualities. So Sukadeva Goswami then started narrating about Vritrasura's past life. He was Chitraketu, and Chitraketu was emperor of the world, and the world was very prosperous and he ruled very nicely. He had many wives, but he had no son, so he was very upset. So then Angira Muni came to visit Maharaj.
Okay, next. What happens?
So Angira Muni comes to his palace, and then he speaks to Maharaj Chitraketu, and he inquires about how he is doing and how his subjects, his wives, and everybody is okay or not. And then seeing his pale face, he says, looks like you're not happy. So what is the cause of your unhappiness? And then Maharaj Chitraketu responds that I have everything and 10 million wives, but then I don't have a son. So I desire to have a son. And then Angira Muni, feeling very compassionate on his situation, he blesses him that you will get a child after this particular yajna, and the child will be the cause for your jubilation and lamentation. And after saying this, he immediately leaves. But Maharaj Chitraketu, he thinks that that this cause of lamentation must be very general, like he must be very disobedient or must be too much into enjoying the opulence, and nothing more than that. So he never expects that he may have to face the loss of his son. So this happens, and after the, performing yajna, that sweet rice is given to this first queen, Kritadruti, and then after eating the sweet rice, she becomes pregnant, and then she delivers a child, and everybody is very happy, and the king is so absorbed in his happiness that he forgets to give any kind of importance to his other queens. So the queens are feeling as if they became maid servants. They say even the maid servants' husbands are giving importance to them better than our husband. So they feel so envious of this negligence which is happening, and then they devises a plan of harming the child. And one day they plan and they come and give poison to the child, and the child dies. And when the maid servant checks that the child is dead, she screams, and then the main queen comes and she starts to lament also.
Okay, so child died. What happens next, Prabhu?
After child dies, he is very sad, it is very sad. So then Narad Muni comes, Angira she comes with Narad Muni to meet Chitraketu, and then he says, then there is a bit of philosophical statements saying, then with the blessing of the son, his name was Harsha Shoka. He appears over there and he tells him, who are you? You are not, last part you are not my parents. So actually, our listening only for this birth. So, and then that child also gets disappeared after that. And then the Angira Rishi, yeah, that's it. There's again some Chitraketu says now what to do, these things. And then again Narad Muni will enlighten us about the Bhakti yoga, what to do, everything. And after that, it's about.
After that, what happened?
The philosophy, Maharaj, is told that you are not the body, but the soul has no death. So that philosophy was explained. And then all the relatives in Maharaj become a little pacified. And it was also told that maybe the child was the enemy in the previous life. In order to take revenge, it has taken birth in this life to cause some suffering to the parents. So hearing these words, Chitraketu and all his wives get some detachment. So after the detachment, now Narada Muni feels he is a suitable candidate to receive devotional service. So he gives the Shankarshana mantra. So by chanting the holy names of Lord Shankarshana, then within 7 days, Maharaj Chitraketu attains the planet of the Vidyadharas, becomes the ruler of the Vidyadharas. And even after further chanting, he gets the darshan of the Supreme Personality Godhead as Anantadeva.
What?
Anantadeva, Shankarshana, Lord Shankarshana. So then when seeing Lord Shankarshana, then Maharaj Chitraketu glorifies Lord Shankarshana in many ways. That how Lord Shankarshana holds the millions of universe on his foots and other glories. Then after glorification, then then Lord Shankarshana speaks, gives some instructions to Maharaj Chitraketu regarding spiritual life.
What kind of instructions did Lord Anantashesha give Chitraketu? What did he tell him to do?
He says him that he explained him about that activity in this life are temporary, no different kind of, and
Who explained this?
Supreme Personality of Godhead, actually,
Yeah, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ananta Shesha.
Start from text 50.
from 50.
Lord is speaking from text 50.
What explained him that most activity is like a dream in this world, and when they about and how to become his devotee.
Yeah. That this material world just like a dream. People want happiness, but we try to find happiness through the sense objects, through the material body. So Lord Anantashesha told Chitraketu he should give up the desire for fruitive results. And with more transcendental knowledge, he should go on and become devotee. Become unattached to material enjoyment and have faith in the Lord and become aware of knowledge and how to use that knowledge. Yeah. You don't need to know a lot, but you need to use what you know. We're fasting this morning.
Yes.
You're eating.
No, I'm not eating.
You're not eating?
No, I'm fasting.
What were you putting in your mouth?
No, I'm just
Oh, you're just wiping your mouth.
for no reason. For no reason, I'm wiping my mouth.
Okay. Alright, so we'll go on to the next chapter, chapter 17. Mother Parvati curses Chitraketu. You'll hear how Chitraketu gets the body of a demon. So the personality of Godhead, Lord Anantashesha, disappeared, and then Chitraketu began traveling in outer space as the head of the Vidyadharas. And wherever he went, he was praised by the great sages and saints of the higher planets, like Siddhaloka, Charanaloka. And Chitraketu wandered about enjoying life. He was enjoying life for millions of years, with bodily strength and senses, free from deterioration. So somehow he had that boon that he could live a long time, and his senses didn't weaken, maintained his bodily strength, and he traveled in places like Sumeru Mountain, where the demigods go. And he was traveling, enjoying life with the women of Vidyadhara Loka. And they were chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Hari. So he was not traveling alone, he was traveling with women, many women from Vidyadhara Loka. But Prabhupada puts in the purport that he did not forget to glorify the Lord. One who is not contaminated by any material, pure devotee, who is engaged in chanting the glories of the Lord, should be understood to be perfect. So we have to understand Chitraketu's situation. He had a brilliantly effulgent airplane given to him by Lord Vishnu. And he saw Lord Shiva surrounded by Siddhas and Charanas. Lord Shiva was in the assembly of great saintly persons and embracing Parvati on his lap with his arm. Chitraketu laughed loudly and spoke within the hearing of Parvati. So he he laughed loudly so everyone would get the attention. They would hear him. So the purport is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead wanted to bring Chitraketu to Vaikuntha as soon as possible. The Lord's plan was that Chitraketu be cursed by Parvati to become Vritrasura, so that in his next life he could quickly return home, back to Godhead. There have been many instances in which a devotee acting as a demon has been brought to the kingdom of God by the mercy of the Lord. What are some examples? You know any devotees who became demons?
Jai Vijay.
Huh?
Jai Vijay.
Jai and Vijay, yeah. They had come from the spiritual world. They came as demons, so they could go back. Anybody else? Anybody else? Only Jai and Vijay?
Ravana.
Huh?
Ravana.
Ravan? Well, that's Jai and Vijay, right? Jai and Vijay became Ravans.
Maybe. Ghatotkacha.
Huh?
Ghatotkacha. Bhima's son. Ghatotkacha.
Oh? Bhima's son?
Yeah, he was Hidimba was his wife. Hidimba.
Huh?
Hidimba was his
Hidimba's
wife's
son.
son. He was a tall, demonic person, but he got liberated. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, it says many instances. I don't know so many. So then Prabhupada said nothing wrong with Lord Shiva embracing his wife. But Chitraketu laughed in that situation, even though he should not have done so. Thus he was cursed, and the curse was the cause of his returning home. So, what should Chitraketu have done? It said, Prabhupada said he should not have done so. He should not have laughed at Chitraketu. What should he have done?
Maharaj, you would have mildly pointed out to Lord Shiva that this may not be the proper etiquette in front of saintly people.
Yeah.
Maybe may not be the problem.
He could have taken him aside, away from the assembly of all the people, without doing it in front of everyone, and certainly away from Parvati. Somewhere, because wife, she's a chaste wife, and she has a lot of faith in her husband, so she wouldn't see anything wrong in her husband. She was happy. So Lord Chitraketu speaks that Lord Shiva, the spiritual master of the general populace, is the best of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. He enunciates the system of religion, yet how wonderful it is that he is embracing his wife Parvati in the midst of an assembly of great saintly persons. And then he talks more about Lord Shiva. His hair is matted, he's undergone great austerities and penances. He is the president in the assembly of strict followers of Vedic principles. Nonetheless, he is seated with his wife on his lap in the midst of saintly persons and is embracing her as if he were a shameless, ordinary human being. Purport, Chitraketu appreciated the exalted position of Lord Shiva, and therefore he remarked at how wonderful it was that Lord Shiva was acting like an ordinary human being. He appreciated Lord Shiva's position, but when he saw Lord Shiva sitting in the midst of saintly persons and acting like a shameless, ordinary man, he was astonished. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks that although Chitraketu criticized Lord Shiva, he did not offend Lord Shiva like Daksha. Daksha considered Lord Shiva insignificant, and Chitraketu expressed his wonder at Lord Shiva's being situated in that way. So there's a difference, big difference between Chitraketu and Daksha. What did Daksha do? What? Tell me. What Canto?
Daksha offended Lord Shiva. He did not invite Lord Shiva to the sacrifice. And first time when he invited, he saw Lord Shiva was not standing to give him respects. So then he got offended, and then he started to speak bad words to Lord Shiva. He said that you always stay between the ghost and goblins, and you dress very weird, and so I feel not good that you are my son-in-law and my daughter has selected you. Only Brahma forced me to make this marriage, otherwise I would have not considered you. And then next time he never invited him for the sacrifice.
Yeah, he didn't offer any oblations in the name of Lord Shiva. Okay, so Lord Shiva did not go to any of the yajna. So Daksha was offensive. Right? Vaishnava aparad. Because what is his criticism of Lord Shiva?
That he wanted respect from Lord Shiva, and rather he disrespected Lord Shiva.
Yeah. He considered Lord Shiva to be uncultured and dirty and like this, hair is all matted and wet. And sometimes he's naked, not dressed normally. So in this way, he considered Lord Shiva to be very uncultured. But Chitraketu, he's just expressing his wonder. He's surprised. Of course, he's surprised, but he also laughed loudly. So that was something which he didn't need to do. You could be surprised, you don't need to laugh out loud at somebody. So he's speaking. I said, ordinary people generally embrace their wives and enjoy their company in solitary places. Not everywhere. How wonderful it is that Lord Mahadev, although a great master of austerity, is embracing his wife openly in the midst of an assembly of great saints. So, certainly the behavior is something unusual, right? Are you married, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Are you married?
No.
No, you're not married. So you don't have that problem, right? You don't have a wife who wants to be embraced, right? But generally, people, young people, like, how long have you been married, Marriage?
10 years.
10 years? Yeah. So, do you go out with your husband a lot?
Sorry?
Do you go out with your husband?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's a devotee, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, does he ever do things like that? Embrace you, like
No, he's
in public?
He's quite Vedic and he knows etiquette well.
Huh?
He knows etiquettes and he is very Vedic, and if I forget, he reminds me that this is not an etiquette.
Huh?
If I forget etiquettes, he keeps reminding me, so this is not an etiquette.
Oh, he reminds you?
Yeah, even while going to temple, when I walk next to him, he said, can you go a little bit behind? It's not nice to walk together. Yeah, just one step behind. What people will say.
Is that right? Is that the etiquette? They should walk behind?
Yeah, a woman should not try to be equal or go forward, and they should be behind. But my speed is quite fast, so I always tend to be more in front of him.
Okay. Okay, so Lord Shiva is he's a very advanced devotee. Lord Shiva is among the best of yogis, but he embraced his wife in the midst of great saintly persons. So Chitraketu appreciated how great Lord Shiva was to be unaffected even in that situation. Therefore, Chitraketu was not an offender. He merely expressed his wonder. So Lord Shiva was unaffected. Although he's embracing his wife, he's not attached. So he's very advanced person. So Lord Shiva, the most powerful personality whose knowledge is fathomless, simply smiled and remained silent. And all the members of the assembly followed by not saying anything. They also didn't take it very seriously. Chitraketu's purpose in criticizing Lord Shiva is somewhat mysterious and cannot be understood by a common man. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, however, has made the following observations. Lord Shiva, being the most exalted Vaishnava, and one of the most powerful demigods, is able to do anything he desires. Although he was externally exhibiting the behavior of a common man and not following etiquette, such actions cannot diminish his exalted position. The difficulty is that a common man, seeing Lord Shiva's behavior, might follow his example, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Whatever actions a great man performs, common men follow. Whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. A common man might also criticize Lord Shiva like Daksha, who suffered the consequences for his criticism. King Chitraketu desired that Lord Shiva cease his external behavior so that others might be saved from criticizing him and thus become big offenders. If one thinks that Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the only perfect personality, whereas the demigods, even demigods such as Lord Shiva, are inclined to improper social affairs, he is an offender. Considering all this, Chitraketu was somewhat harsh in his behavior with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, who is always deep in knowledge, could understand Chitraketu's purpose. So he was not at all angry. Rather, he smiled and remained silent. And the members of the assembly could also understand Chitraketu's purpose. Consequently, following the behavior of Lord Shiva, they did not protest. Instead, following their master, they remained silent. If the members of the assembly thought that Chitraketu had blasphemed Lord Shiva, they would certainly have left at once, blocking their ears with their hands. So, Chitraketu is described that he was harsh. Why was he harsh? Is it proper to criticize? Well, Prabhupada is criticizing, Prabhupada is saying he was harsh. What's the danger? Why is this Lord Shiva's behavior dangerous?
Because others might criticize him, they might not understand his exalted position, and they might become offenders. So Chitraketu did not want others to criticize Shiva, Lord Shiva.
To criticize Lord Shiva.
Chitraketu did not want others to criticize Lord Shiva, as they will not understand Lord Shiva's exalted position, so they might become offenders like Daksha. So he does not want others to criticize.
He doesn't want others to criticize like Daksha.
Yeah.
But Lord Shiva is behaving in a dangerous way. Right? Lord Shiva's behavior is, it's not really the right example for everyone. Is it? What's the danger?
People might imitate Lord Shiva Maharaj and common man might do those things in the public. And common people might imitate Lord Shiva and do those things in the public. And it may not be a good example.
Yeah. Prabhu?
See, he will copy others' speech. Prabhupada says in this sloka exact Acharya sisters. If you just copy or imitate what they are doing, it will be danger. People will say, he has done this, they will start following Lord Shiva only. So this should not happen. So it's dangerous things. That's what they say.
Yeah, that's really dangerous.
Yeah, should copy or imitate Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva does this. You think Lord Shiva can do it in front of an assembly of great sages. So I'm with my friends, I can also, or I'm going out, the kind of contact with the opposite sex, and it sets a very dangerous, bad example for people. Chitraketu wanted that others might be saved from criticizing him. So that danger, that's one danger is there, that they will criticize Lord Shiva and then they become offenders. So on one hand they may criticize Lord Shiva, on the other hand they may imitate Lord Shiva. They may follow his example. So that's also dangerous.
Lord Shiva is not just a demigod also, Maharaj, he is the head of a Rudra Sampradaya. So, he is like an Acharya.
Mahajan.
Yeah, the great Vaishnava. Well, it was mentioned, right, in the description about Lord Shiva. He was described like, being the most exalted Vaishnava, one of the most powerful demigods. His knowledge is fathomless. So he's very special personality.
This much independence Lord Shiva should have, that he can behave like how he wants because he knows how he is behaving.
He knows how he's behaving.
Yeah, because he's such a great personality, he's aware of what he's doing.
So?
I mean, he's a grahastha, he has a wife and she wants to sit on his lap and he cannot say no to her and there's no other way for him. That's how it has to be and that's how he is. What can be done? Why to conclude things in a wrong way?
Maharaj, when similar thing, Nalakuvara and Manikriva did not have the shame to behave in front of Narada Muni. Narada Muni cursed them. So,
But they were conditioned souls. There is no comparison.
Yeah, and they were intoxicated. But Lord Shiva was not intoxicated. Lord Shiva was aware what he was doing.
Also, what I feel that this has been arranged by the Lord. Also because, so he will laugh, then he will give curse, he will become Uttasur. It's all planned by the Lord.
It's all planned by the Lord.
Everything.
Good answer.
Well, I don't know if it's planned at Parvati. It might be.
Cursing her, Uttasur.
Anyway, Prabhupada writes that Lord Shiva could understand Chitraketu's purpose, so he was not at all angry. And that's why he smiled and stayed silent. So that's one point. And then Chitraketu wanted to save people from criticizing Lord Shiva and thus become offenders. The offense being that they think Vishnu is the only perfect personality, then that's an offense. If we're thinking demigods, even people like Lord Shiva, that they like to do social affairs, then this is an offense. If we're minimizing the position of devas like this. So we have to have proper respect for everyone. Okay, we'll go on to number 10. Not knowing the prowess of Lord Shiva and Parvati, Chitraketu strongly criticized them. His statements were not at all pleasing, and therefore the goddess Parvati, being very angry, spoke as follows to Chitraketu, who thought himself better than Lord Shiva in controlling the senses. So Chitraketu never meant to insult Lord Shiva. He should not have criticized the Lord, even though the Lord was transgressing social customs. In what way was the Lord transgressing social customs? What was he doing?
Embracing in public.
Huh?
Embracing in front of everyone. Embracing in front of everyone.
Okay. Embracing his wife in public. Okay. So, one who is very powerful should be understood to be faultless. So Lord Shiva, we should not look at any fault in him. Chitraketu should have known that Lord Shiva was not to be criticized. The difficulty was that Chitraketu, having become a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, was somewhat proud at having achieved Lord Shankarshan's favor, and therefore thought that he could now criticize anyone. So a lot of people, they're coming to the holy dham. They don't want to be cursed. They're coming to get some punya, not to just use up their punya, but to get some more pious activity. So Chitraketu, he was proud at having achieved Lord Sankarshan's favor. What had happened? What did Lord Sankarshan give to Chitraketu that showed he was getting the favor? Did he give anything?
The Vidyadhara Loka. The
What?
Vidyadhara Loka. The planet of Vidyadharas to rule.
Vidyadhara Loka, okay.
And also he gave his darshan.
Huh?
He gave his darshan.
Gave his darshan to him.
Spoke to him many blessings.
We heard also Lord Vishnu gave him an airplane to travel.
Yes.
Traveling to the heavenly planet.
With the ladies.
Yeah, with
He is
many
traveling
ladies.
with the ladies.
Huh? What?
Chitraketu is traveling with the ladies, chanting.
Yeah, he's traveling with the ladies. Well, that point comes
Can
up.
we have a point for
Vishnu, this question. he has already 10 million wives. He has 10 million wives. So instead of going with them, I don't know, she says woman is which woman? It is his wives or some other girlfriends.
No, the women were in atonement, no? They're atoning. We read that the wives were very the wives of Chitraketu were atoning.
They went to one river and they were staying there doing tapasya, meditation.
Same thing.
So he was not having any ladies, so he just got some other friend.
Company.
We're discussing is the woman in the airplane his wives or not?
Some other woman.
I don't think so.
Ask him.
Nobody mentioned they were his wives. But they were ladies from Vichadara Loka.
Yeah, the question is why is he traveling with the ladies and chanting the holy name in the airplane? Why he has to do that?
Why does he need
And then he's the one who's criticizing.
Oh, he was enjoying. He was enjoying traveling and seeing the different places in the universe.
And then he's criticizing Lord Shiva when Lord Shiva is enjoying his wife's company.
But Lord Shiva is doing something which is in front of so many other sages, you see. If you're just doing something, it's your private business. But you're doing it in front of a big gathering, you feel a little embarrassed, right? Anyway, Prabhupada is saying Chitraketu had become a little proud. Why?
He thought that he could control his senses better than Lord Shiva.
Because he has achieved Lord Sankarsana's favor.
Yes, because he got the favor of Lord Sankarsana. Anything else?
Also, he thought himself a better controller of his senses.
Why?
Because no, why? Because there's not much.
He got Sankarsana's darshan.
But that does not mention why.
Because he is thinking himself so elevated.
What's related?
Elevated that he has darshan of Lord Sankarsana. He should be humble regarding this thing, but he became proud.
Yeah, definitely humility is an important thing. It's mentioned here. Vaishnava should be humble and meek and offer respect to others. So, what was Chitraketu's fault?
He was not respecting.
He's proud.
He was not respectful. He was not being humble. He was being proud.
Yeah, some pride was definitely there. That
Yes.
he's not so much associating with the devotees. So it's a sign he's having some problem. Okay. And so then Prabhupada quotes Shikshastikam, third verse, and how a devotee will try to minimize, a devotee should not try to minimize others' position. Yeah, text number 10, the purport, said that Chitraketu thought himself a better controller of the senses than Lord Shiva, although actually he was not. So why did he think he was a better controller of the senses than Lord Shiva?
Because he was proudish.
Huh?
Because he had pride.
Well, you're going to give a person some shoes.
Though he was with the Vidyadhara woman Maharaj, his senses were not agitated.
Senses were agitated.
Were not agitated.
Were
The
not
Vidyadhara woman.
He was proud that his senses were not agitated in association with other women in Vidyadhara.
Yeah, that's a good point. That he was not proud. Although he was surrounded by so many ladies,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
he was not agitated. He was not proud. We saw Srimad Bhagavatam describes about Narada Muni's previous life before he became the maidservant's son. He was a Gandharva. What was his name? You know the name Narada Muni when he was a Gandharva before he became the son of a maidservant?
Upa something.
Upavarana.
Upavarana.
Anyway,
Upa something.
he was proud. He was very good looking and he was with the young ladies and he was joking with them and he started to sing names of the demigods and kirtans. He got cursed to become the maidservant's son. So pride is a very dangerous thing. So Chitraketu must have had some pride. I don't know why Prabhupada thinks that why does Prabhupada say that Chitraketu was a better controller of the senses than Lord Shiva? What has he done to show that he's a better controller?
It's a thought.
What is Chitraketu done? He's a better well, we said he's with all the women and he's not
Agitated.
not disturbed, right? His mind is peaceful and he's well, he's definitely able to, he's got yoga powers, right? He can travel everywhere. Lord Shiva just going on his bull, Nandi. But Chitraketu's got an airplane and he can travel everywhere with many people. So Chitraketu certainly seems to have some power controlling the senses. So anyway, what Lord Shiva did, what he was doing, is a dangerous example for everyone. Yes?
This statement says that one who is very powerful should be understood to be faultless.
Should what?
One who is powerful should be understood to be faultless. Faultless.
Should not be faulty.
Yeah. So this sentence applies to Shiva actually, but also applies to Chitraketu. He says that I have power, so I become powerful. So nobody can make force against me. So understand that verse. Shiva and Chitraketu, both. Well, he's powerful.
Well, Chitraketu was wrong to curse them, right?
Yeah.
He should not have But he didn't curse him, of course.
Correct.
He just laughed at him. But actually, Parvati took it wrong. Parvati took it the wrong way. It was Parvati who's wrong. Chitraketu, he was a friend of Lord Shiva. They were friends. And when he laughed, it was like a joke. You know, it was joking words between him. Because Chitraketu was coming with all these women in his airplane, and how he can criticize Lord Shiva? He's just with his wife. Yeah? And Chitraketu is there with all these women. They're not even his wife, but he's with them, traveling with them. And so how can Chitraketu criticize Lord Shiva? But Lord Shiva, well, you could say Chitraketu's behavior is also dangerous, you know. What Lord Shiva is doing was setting a bad example for people, you know, sitting in an assembly of saintly persons, and you know, what would you think, you know, maybe you have a spiritual master, maybe your guru's a grihasta. So if he brings his wife along, you know, and the wife sits with him, and especially if she sits on his lap, you know, it's going to be unusual, isn't it? Could you imagine hearing a Bhagavatam class in that kind of situation? Yeah, no. You know, of course, somebody can be a spiritual master, they can be a grihasta, they can have a family and so on, but at the same time, they have to show example, right? Controlling the senses. Should be able to control the senses. There was one devotee, he wanted to start taking disciples, but they criticized him. They said, no, I saw him taking his dog for a walk. He had a dog. It wasn't his dog, it was his wife's dog. You know, he's a prihasta, you know, and his wife had a dog. And so he took the dog for a walk. So they said, this is not proper for a spiritual master, you know. You're going to be a spiritual master, you can't take the dog for a walk. In the same way, you know, you have a wife. You have to be a little cautious about how you associate together. You could say, well, they're married. Yeah, that's all right, but still, public opinion. Public opinion is important. We have to always be conscious of public opinion.
Srila Prabhupada always criticizes the Western culture, Maharaj. It is very difficult for brahmacharis to survive in Western culture because even though they are married, the way they behave in public is like very dangerous, very difficult.
Prabhupada criticized the devotees one time in Bhaktivedanta manner. He said the men and women are associating too much with each other.
Even in Mayapur, when Srila Prabhupada was there in the conch building, he was standing in the balcony and he saw one couple sitting in the garden. And then Prabhupada immediately called them. It's like, what are you doing? And they said, we are reading Krishna book together in the garden. Prabhupada said, no, you're not setting good example. The brahmacharis will get inspired looking at you both and they will feel like getting married and getting into grihastha life and sit down and read Krishna book. And I don't want that. So you cannot sit in public and say that I'm reading Krishna book.
So, Prabhupada didn't encourage them.
No. It was in Mayapur. And it was in the starting days, so it was...
Where?
In the early days.
Yeah, well, of course, Prabhupada must have been out. I never heard that before. Interesting. Who told you that?
My Guru Maharaj.
Who's that?
Subhag Swami Maharaj.
Huh?
Subhag Swami.
Oh, Subhag Swami.
I heard you both got initiation at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mother Parvati was angry at Chitraketu? Well, yeah. She had some reason to get angry at him, right? Was she proper? Was it, I mean, we're going to hear what she said, but definitely, certainly he was taking a risk to do something like that in front of some. When you've got a wife like Parvati who's so powerful, then you're really taking a risk, if you. But it was not done seriously. It was joking, Chitraketu was joking. But anyway, you could say Lord Vishnu has a plan that he wants that Chitraketu will come back to Godhead. So that's the arrangement. So Mother Parvati then begins speaking. She says, this upstart world has now received a post from which to punish shameless persons like us. Has he been appointed ruler, carrier of the rod of punishment? Is he now the only master of everything?
Is she calling herself shameless?
Yeah, sarcastically.
Oh.
What?
I thought, why is she calling herself shameless?
Shameless. To punish shameless, well, she Parvati is saying that her and her husband, Lord Shiva, are shameless. They haven't done anything wrong.
Oh.
In the mind of Parvati, they have not done anything wrong. There's no fault on them.
I took it.
Huh?
Yes.
Straight.
Yeah.
And Chitraketu, she calls Chitraketu an upstart. And because Lord Shiva, he's like, he's there a long time, but Chitraketu, he's coming up, before he was on earth, now he's the king of the big Jadaras, he's coming up, getting higher and higher positions. We heard he was traveling for millions of years. So, although that's in the material world, it's not very long, right? Millions of years is not great, especially in the higher planets. So Parvati continues, Lord Brahma, who has taken birth from the lotus flower, does not know the principles of religion, nor do the great saints like Bhrigu and Narada, nor the four Kumaras headed by Sanat Kumar, Manu and Kapila, have also forgotten their religious principles. I suppose it is to be because of this that they have not tried to stop Lord Shiva from behaving improperly. So she's pointing out so many great souls, none of them tried to stop Lord Shiva from behaving. If what he was doing was improper, then certainly some of these great souls would have stopped Lord Shiva from doing it. But nobody has said anything to him. Maybe they were afraid to say anything, Lord Shiva is easily angered. Maybe, so nobody said. Anyway, this is her argument. And then she criticizes Chitraketu. This Chitraketu is the lowest of Kshatriyas. He has impudently overridden Brahma and the other demigods by insulting Lord Shiva, upon whose lotus feet they always meditate. Lord Shiva is personified religion and the spiritual master of the entire world, and therefore Chitraketu must be punished. So Parvati points out, there's so many great souls there, so many exalted, self-realized souls. They were there with Lord Shiva, and they did not say anything about the conduct of Lord Shiva. They didn't feel any problem. Chitraketu has criticized Lord Shiva, and therefore the opinion of Parvati was that he should be punished. This person is puffed up because of his achievements, thinking, I am the best. He does not deserve to approach the shelter of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. He is impudent, thinking himself greatly important. So, devotee consciousness is very important. A devotee, if he thinks himself advanced in devotional service, and if he's puffed up, he's unfit to sit at the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. And then Prabhupada quotes Shikshastakam, 3rd verse, unless one is humble and meek, one cannot qualify to sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. So humility. The more advanced a person is, the more humble they will become. So very important for devotees, never to become proud or puffed up. So then Parvati puts her curse. She said, "O impudent one, my dear son, now take birth in a low, sinful family of demons, so that you will not commit such an offense again towards exalted, saintly persons in this world." So to commit offenses against the devotees, very dangerous. Right? So it's a mad elephant offense, hatimata. So we have to always avoid committing offenses against devotees. And that's why Prabhupada had every morning we have to offer obeisances. After Mangal Arati, we will offer the obeisances to everyone. In the beginning, when Prabhupada first came to India, he brought many senior devotees with him. You know, they'd all come from America and they had their own temples in America. And then Prabhupada said, you know, you can come to India with me, help me begin the preaching in India. So Prabhupada brought senior devotees with him to India. But the problem was because they were all senior, they couldn't get along with each other because they were used to being in charge, you know. And now that one person's in charge and you've got to be the servant, and sometimes problems. And also because it was India, 1960s and 70s, very simple, very difficult, you know, very austere, and no temple, and traveling a lot, and living different places. So devotees were really having difficulties, and they would argue with each other. And Prabhupada saw how there was tension between them. So Prabhupada said, every morning you have to all offer obeisances. And that counteracts any offenses. So here, Mother Parvati, who is Durga, she is putting her curse. Prabhupada said, Mother Parvati was justified in punishing Chitraketu, for Chitraketu impudently criticized the Supreme Father, Mahadev, who is the father of the living entities conditioned within this material world. Goddess Durga is called Mother, Lord Shiva is called Father. A pure Vaishnava should be very careful to engage in his specific duty without criticizing others. This is the safest position. Otherwise, if one tends to criticize others, he may commit the great offense of criticizing a Vaishnava. So Chitraketu, he didn't really criticize a Vaishnava. But, well, it's a fine line. He laughed at Lord Shiva loudly. So everybody heard, everybody was aware, but nobody felt offended. Nobody thought, oh, this is an offense. You know, like when Sishupal stood up and began to criticize Lord Krishna in the assembly at the Rajasuya Yagya, then everyone left. You know, they don't want to hear Sishupal's blasphemy. Can you think of where else was somebody criticized? Where was blasphemy spoken? Who else criticized? We just spoke about
Daksha.
Daksha. Right? Daksha criticized Lord Shiva. Any other people who criticized Chaitanya Leela?
Damodar Pandit was suggesting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about his behavior with a small kid.
Oh.
Huh?
What? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was getting close to a
small child.
He criticized Mahaprabhu.
The child has a beautiful mother.
Huh?
The child was having a beautiful mother.
Yeah, child had a beautiful mother.
So,
and the Lord Chaitanya was affectionate with the child.
And Damodar was worried.
Damodar Pandit. So Lord Chaitanya sent Damodar Pandit to Mayapur. Go and live in Mayapur. Anyway, also Devananda Pandit did not, when they dragged out Srivas Pandit from the assembly, hearing the Bhagavatam, so Devananda Pandit got reactions for that.
Sachi Mata criticized Advaitacharya for brainwashing.
Yes, okay. Ramachandra Puri was critical of people. Right? Ramachandra Puri was always criticizing everywhere he went. Oh, and you go to your Vaishnavas, you eat too much. Look, so many insects are running around here. You've been keeping sweets here. That's why all these insects have come. I heard you go to your Vaishnava people eat too much. Now I know. See, this is the proof. Like that. So, and what was the result? He became a critic. He just criticized. He spent his whole time criticizing people, fault finding. That was the reaction. He criticized. So here, Chitraketu was undoubtedly a Vaishnava. So Prabhupada said he might have been surprised that Parvati had cursed him. But Parvati addressed him as son, putra. Durga is the mother. So and then there's something, I don't know, is this right? It said, when there's a small discrepancy in demon's behavior, Mother Durga immediately punishes the demon so that he may come to his senses. You can think of any examples like that?
Jagabhat was about to be killed by people who wanted to sacrifice him. Mother Parvati came as Durga and killed all the people.
Huh? Kali. Kali Gandaki. Yeah. Well, she killed them all.
She didn't punish.
Severe punishment, right? Kill them all. Off with their heads. To surrender to Krishna means to surrender to his devotees also. For no one can be a proper servant of Krishna unless he is a proper servant of a devotee. We cannot go to, we have to first of all serve the devotee. Then by the mercy of the devotee we get the mercy of Krishna. So Prabhupada said, Mother Parvati speaking to Chitraketu like a mother would talk to her naughty child. And he talks about how Mother Yashoda punished Krishna by tying him up. So he said, it is to be understood Mother Durga was justified in punishing Chitraketu. This punishment was a boon to Chitraketu because after taking birth as Vritrasura, he was promoted directly to Vaikuntha. Not so easy. It's certainly surprising that Chitraketu had to go through all of that in order to go back to Godhead. He had to take birth as a demon. Yeah?
We heard earlier that Bharat Maharaj also, to intensify his bhakti, he had to take birth again as a deer, and that intensified bhakti. Similarly, Chitraketu Maharaj's bhakti is intensified as he comes with the Sura. So, Bharat Maharaj also went through many births. So,
And they take another birth.
Yes.
As a deer, yeah, before he could become devotee, full devotee, and then go back to Godhead.
Even to Dhruva, the Lord says, to Dhruva Maharaj, after his austerities, Lord gave him darshan, and after that he disappears. And he says to intensify your bhakti, I am leaving now, you intensify it, then you can come back to me. Till then you stay in Dhruva Loka also.
Stay in Dhruvaloka.
Yeah. He did not give one more darshan to Dhruva. Lord, he said, I want to intensify your bhakti. That's why I will not give you darshan anymore.
Oh, that was when he was a child.
Yes.
When he went to the forest as a child.
Yes.
Yeah. So he had to come back, he had to rule the kingdom.
Yes.
Because he had that desire to have the kingdom.
Yes.
So he had the kingdom, he ruled for many years. Then he went to Badrikashram. And then the airplane came and took him to Dhruvaloka. And he stays in Dhruvaloka right till the end of the life of Brahma.
Also, Ajamila, also same example, Ajamila. Vishnu Dutas, they disappeared. So after they have talked between the Yamaraj, Yamadusat and Vishnu, so then if I would ask a question, Ajamila, immediately to intensify desire to glorify the Lord for the bhakti. Immediately said
Ajamila was never offensive, but he was sinful. He was sinful, right? And Ajamila, of course, he went back to God then.
Yeah. And that's one.
So Chitraketu gets cursed by Parvati. How does he respond? He gets down from his airplane, but very humbly, and pleased her. He pleases Mother Parvati. Comes to Mother Parvati with folded hands, and he said, I accept the curse upon me. I do not mind the curse. Happiness and distress are given by the demigods as a result of one's past deeds. So, nice way. He knew he had not committed any offense at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, yet he had been punished. And this means that punishment had been ordained. Right? Something goes wrong, I never did anything to deserve this. Oh, it must be ordained, right? This is how, when something happens, something which we didn't expect, We have Krishna's plan, sent by Krishna. Krishna must be teaching me something. So Chitraketu did not mind it. And Prabhupada said, devotee is so humble and meek. He accepts any kind of condition. So suffering is part of a process of purification. Right? We want to suffer, we want suffering? No, that's how we get purified. That's why voluntarily we should accept some tapasya. Just like today we're doing half-day fast, as a little tapasya, That's the Ekadasi also. Do more chanting. It's a tapasya. To increase our hearing and chanting. Not really suffering, but a little austerity purifies us, to purify us. So, Prabhupada quotes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He said the suffering of a devotee is not under the laws of karma. Whatever suffering, whatever difficulties the devotees go through, it is not karma, but it's arrangement of Krishna. It's to help to purify us. So devotee is actually, he's on the platform of Brahma Buddha. So his karma is already taken away. A devotee is always eager to go back home, back to Godhead, and remain there in the association of the Lord. So Maharaj Chitraketu being cursed by Parvati should be considered the mercy of the Lord. The Lord wants Chitraketu to come back to Godhead as soon as possible. So he got rid of any karma which was there, he got rid of it all by the curse. And then he said, acting through the heart of Parvati, the Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, cursed Chitraketu in order to end all his material reactions. So in some way, at one point, it seems like contradictory. We're saying devotee has no karma, and here Prabhupada is saying that whatever karma was there is taken away when Parvati curses Chitraketu. Because that curse it burns up all the karma which he has.
We heard that devotee does not have karma, but Krishna takes control of the karma. So maybe the karma that Krishna is taking control of has been burnt away. Could it be?
The karma that
we heard from other devotee who did Bhakti Vaibhava for that. He said that devotee's karma, Krishna takes in his hand. Krishna takes in charge of the karma of the devotee.
He takes charge of the karma of the devotee.
He can magnify it, he can magnify it, he can give it little by little, or he can make it less, the karma. So is the karma that he said here is meant is gone away, could it be the karma that Krishna took in his hand that is burnt away?
Well, yeah. Certainly the way it's written here, it seems to indicate that it said the Lord, well, it couldn't be the Lord, it should be capital He, but Chitraketu terminated the reactions of his past deeds. he terminated all the reactions of his past deeds. So Chitraketu terminated the reactions of his past deeds. How did he do that? By accepting the curse. The Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, cursed Chitraketu in order to end all his material reactions. So Chitraketu, because Chitraketu was doing so many things, he's traveling everywhere, and he's with so many ladies, and he's the king, and so as the ruler of the Vijayadhara Loka, he has to get some karma there, and definitely but at the same time he's engaged in devotional service, and he's a pure devotee, he's a great devotee. But the Lord wants to bring him back to Godhead, and the Lord arranges this. And in Srimad Bhagavatam it says, Swalpam abhyasya dharmasya trayati mahotubhaya. There's a little bit karma is remaining. The major portion of the karma is removed, but there's always some traces of karma are remaining in the heart of the devotee. So these traces have to be removed to go back to Godhead. So this is how Chitraketu is going to take care of this Vritasura and get rid of all the karma, and then he can go back to Godhead.
So when a living entity surrenders to the Lord, and Lord takes charge of his karmas, so why the traces are left behind? That should also have been taken by the Lord.
What is left behind?
The traces of the karma.
Traces of the karma.
Yeah, why is that pending? Like, why one has to suffer for the traces when he's surrendering to the Lord?
Yeah, well, we're surrendering to the Lord, but still, you need also association with devotees. You know, we're surrendering. We're not able to surrender 100%. We're surrendering, but you know, it's partial. How much we surrender? It's not so easy to surrender everything immediately. And definitely at the time of initiation, you're not surrendering everything. You surrender a bit. You surrender something. But we have to go on and increase our surrender more and more. Lord Krishna was encouraging making the gopis become more and more surrendered, taking everything away. That's Krishna's mercy when he takes everything away. Because we have things, we're attached. We get attached, even though we're devotees. We have attachments. You know, you have your home, you have your husband, you have children.
Not yet.
Not yet. So anyway, you get attached to these things. Husband, home, like that, definitely, you know. Attachment. We're in this, even sannyasis, we have attachments. My tilak. My toothbrush. Like that, you know, you get attached to these things. So we do have some kind of attachment, and these things have to be taken away. Yeah? So that cursing, this curse put onto Chitraketu was an opportunity for him to get free of everything. Right?
Yes.
Okay, take a break.
Thank you. increases or decreases. The places also it is that when completely silent, it moves.